Welcome back, commanders and friends, to another video, and today we're going to be checking out the first ever Gen 5 officer. Now, if you have a look up here to start with, you can see it does say Officer Generation 1, and then once the server has been open for 75 days, this officer will be promoted to Gen 5. And all of their skills will be enhanced. So we do click on here and we can actually see with this number, we can change what the numbers are. So for example, 1500 into 1800. So we're going to go through, we're going to look at the two difference, what it would be when it's Gen 1 for all of you new players, and then we'll have a look at what it's going to be for Gen 5 once the server is opened for 75 days. Now, this is the first Gen 5 officer, guys. I think it's kind of cool that they're doing a difference between, you know, when you first get it versus when it turns into Gen 5. Because obviously, anyone who's new to the game can instantly just get some really overpowered officers. And instead of them having to wait 75 days to unlock the new officers, they can work on them straight away. And then they just get promoted when you hit that 75 days. I think it's actually a really, really cool option instead of having to wait. Now, let's look into the officer, guys. It is a versatile officer. It is also in the field. Now, as I mentioned, guys, this is a versatile officer and it is very versatile. This will work on most units. So let's check out what Lady Shadow has to offer. We're going to start off with the level 1. Now, I know most of you are going to want to know eventually level 2, and we're going to go through each and every single one of them. But here we can see here, deals skill damage to an enemy, damage coefficient of 1500. If no enemies are within one map grid of this officer's troop, that deals extra skill damage of 300. So you could be doing up to 1800 at level 1. Now, when you awaken this officer, it does the airstrike, and we'll quickly talk about that now. So, calls in an airstrike, dealing AoE damage, damage coefficient of 300, up to 3 enemies within 2 map grids of the initial target. Not of yourself, of the initial target. The AoE damage cannot exceed 20% of the enemy's max HP, which that's a bit of a sucky bit, but it is what it is. Now, this is basically like Stinger, whereas what Stinger does is he deals damage to random targets within map grids of himself, whereas this is going to be of the enemy. So let's just say you yourself are 2 grids away from an enemy. You could end up hitting him, and when your skill goes off, you could hit someone 4 grids away from you because they are only 2 grids away from the enemy. It's like Stinger, where it'll hit random units within that area, and that's basically how it's going to work. Now, if you are getting it to level 5, which most people here will be, you are going to be doing 1800 coefficient with an extra 360, which is 2160 coefficient, which is pretty high. And then the airstrike will all do 360 on each individual attack. Now, as we mentioned here, the 20% of the enemy's HP kind of ruins it. For example, let's just say right now Stinger was to do a skill shot and you're using Stinger on a 9.2 unit, and there's for some unknown reason an 8.1 unit in the field. Stinger's thing will probably destroy that instantly, whereas with this it can't do any more than 20% of the enemy's HP. So even if you was attacking something that's much smaller than you, it's, you know, a really weak unit, it's not actually going to completely destroy the unit, which kind of is a bit of a drawback. But if you are using this on a Howie, for example, guys, you could use this on a howitzer to deal damage. Okay, now this is going to be a very strong officer for a howitzer, and here's why. You know, when you're attacking howies, there's like a wall of howies and you're trying to attack it with a skill shot and then you pull back. Now, normally the most favored one in this example would be Flame, because Flame will hit someone outside of that grid range. So you could hit him at 5 grids, and then you could hit someone at 6 grids with your howitzer because of his officer ability to attack someone within 1 grid. This unit, you could end up hitting someone at 5 grids and then hitting someone up to 7 grids away with the AoE airstrike, which I think is honestly crazy. Very, very strong ability, because again, The airstrike deals up to 3 enemies within 2 map grids of the initial target, not of your actual unit. Now, the second skill here, we are going to have another offense. We have got damage intensity of 15% at level 1, and it increases while in the field by a further 5%. Now, if you are on a level 5 officer, you'll have 20% and 10%, which means you'll have a total of 30% extra damage intensity. That is very strong. Moving on to the next one here, we have got increases this officer's normal attack boost by 22% and the officer's skill boost by 15%. Now, again, this is level 1, and if we upgrade it to level 5, we can see here that it's going to be normal attack boost of 30% and officer skill buff of 20%. This is also crazy strong. Finally, we have a balanced skill here, which is firepower buff of 20%, and HP buff for 20%, but if we was to upgrade it to level 5, it's 25 of each. And of course, we've already gone over the awakened skill, which is the airstrike. Now, as I mentioned, guys, this is a very strong officer. It will work on tanks, it will work on Howies, it will work on ATGs, it will work on almost everything except for like tanking a base. It's a very field offensive unit, and honestly, I probably will end up getting this officer. It does seem very, very strong. So guys, what do you reckon? Is this an officer you're going to be getting? It's the very first Gen 5. Of course, it's going to be strong. It has a lot of great, you know, capabilities of dealing some damage. But let me know, what do you think? Is this something you're going to go and get? And also, guys, if you are looking for skill training, I would honestly say just any of these 2 middle ones. Although the balanced one is, you know, it's just HP and it's just firepower, I would 100% go for the damage intensity of 30%. Or the normal attack of 30% and officer skill boost of 20%, because overall, guys, those are going to be so much stronger, as we've already figured out in one of my recent videos where we speak about how weak firepower is compared to damage. But let me know, what do you think, guys? As I said, this is going to work on almost any unit. Now, finally, let's check out the Awoken art for you, because a lot of you do like to see the Awakened art because, you know, they're getting quite creative with it. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you all. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know, do you rate this Gen 5 officer a W? Are you happy it's a versatile one, or was you expecting something else? As always, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.